recording the review. All right, moving on. Okay, Sage Jones. Who was the exchange student who survived the brutal murders of 8 student nurses in Chicago? Might look under 1966 at a glance for that one. Again, who was the exchange student who survived the brutal murders of 8 student nurses in Chicago in 1966? Immerse yourself into this answer, if you would, please. Sometimes when you walk in, you got to immerse yourself into the subject.
Corazon Immerso?
Correct. Corazon Immerso. All right, Michaela. Who was the Texas governor that LBJ ran against in the Senate Democratic primary election after World War II? Who was that famous Texas governor that Lyndon Johnson ran against in the Senate Democratic primary election after World War II? You know this, you guys know this is a Pepsi town. Just got to remind you. Oh, Coke Stevenson, yes, that would be correct. Okay, Maddie, who was the congressman that LBJ worked as a congressional secretary for from 1932 until 1937? Who was that fellow?
Richard Kleber.
Richard Kleber, very good. Ivan, name the 2 Apollo astronauts that were killed on the launch pad, of Apollo 1.
Was it Roger Chaffee?
Roger Chaffee and
Edward H. II?
Edward H. White II
White.
and Virgil Gus Grissom, right? Gus Grissom will not be on the test, just so you know, but the other 2 certainly might. Okay, Dalton, what was the birth name of Lady Bird Johnson? Probably should have asked Nolan this.
Claudia Alta Taylor.
Claudia Alta Taylor. Pete, who hit his 535th home run on September 17, 1966, moving into 2nd place among career home run hitters? Willie Mays, that's right. Too bad JC's not here because JC did such a fantastic job of announcing this at the basketball game the other day. So I'll throw it on to Tristan. Who is the man who held the NBA scoring record prior to February 15th, 1966?
Bob Pettit.
Bob Pettit, very good. Bob Pettit. Casey, who was the Republican senator who ran against Lyndon Johnson in the presidential election of 1964? Who was the Republican senator who ran against Lyndon Johnson in the presidential election of 1964? In other words, who ran against Lyndon Johnson for the presidency in 1964 on the Republican ticket? Silver Juice. Barry Silver Juice. Very Goldwater. Very good. You should never forget these tomorrow after this. I mean, you really just should. Olivia, who was the Republican vice presidential candidate in 1964?
William Miller.
William Miller. Very good. Hunter, who was the astronaut that was the command pilot of both Gemini 7 and Apollo 8?
Frank Borman.
Frank Borman. Very good. Frank Borman. Josh? Who was the one-time NBA scoring leader known in sports history as the Stilt? As the Stilt. I can't even give you a hint on that one. Huh? That was his nickname, the Stilt. Would be Jacob the Stilt Garza, but it might be.
I don't know, I didn't write down all
You didn't.
the 10, top 10 players.
Well, that isn't. That wasn't the point of it. Who was nicknamed the Stilt, Taylor? Jack the Stilt Nicholas. How about Wilt Chamberlain? Why, Paris? What? Let's see. Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. Okay. One-time NBA scoring leader known in sports history as Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay. I'm gonna transform you, non-sports addicts here. Jared, who was the convicted rapist who revolutionized the meaning of "you have the right to remain silent"?
Miranda.
Yep. Ernesto Miranda. Very good. Brady, who is the student at the University of Texas who shot and killed several people from atop the clock tower on campus? Charles Whitman. Very good. And Taylor, who was the first professional golfer to win back-to-back Masters golf championships? Well, you already said it one time. That's why I called him.
Oh, was it Jack?
Jack Nicklaus. Very good. Okay, and finally, who was the co-pilot, pilot of the lunar module, which did not exist on that flight because they didn't carry one, but he still went up in the flight as the lunar module pilot in Apollo 8 Siobhan? You don't? How about you, Kellyanna? William Anders. Very good. William Anders. Okay, now those are the matching questions. 15. Now we'll get to the nitty-gritty. Ivan Perez, if you do this without mistake, I will buy everybody ice cream bars for after the test tomorrow. Okay, no helping. Anybody whispers, the bet's off. I want you to list all 7 political positions that were held by Lyndon Baines Johnson during his political career. All 7. Don't help him. If you get all 7, I'm buying ice cream for everybody tomorrow after the test. And you can use your notes, which I'm sure are outstanding.
Hey.
Okay, what were the 7 political positions he held? Let's start with the most obvious.
Oh, goodness gracious.
New political position, goodness gracious. Political positions that Lyndon Johnson held, all 7. Let's start with the most obvious.
President.
Very good, President. Now listen, on the test tomorrow, President of the United States, not President of the Key Club. President of the United States. Give me another one.
Vice President.
Vice President of the United States. Give me another one. What else was he?
Congressional Secretary under.
Oh, that's usually the one they forget. He was a congressional secretary. Very good. How about another one? That's usually the one they always forget. What else did he serve as in politics?
Would Congressman be one?
Was he a congressman? Did he serve in the House of Representatives? Yes or no, Paris? Didn't he take over a guy's seat that died? Yep. So he was in the House of Representatives. Okay.
How many is that?
That is 4. You're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. What else was he?
Senate.
He was in the Senate?
No, I said we were already citizens.
Oh, was he in the Senate?
Well, we tried running for it, but
He didn't get it, huh?
I mean, he did.
Oh, he did?
Only
He did or didn't? Is he a senator or not? Yes or no, right now?
Yes.
Okay. Senator, two more.
Would military count too?
No, he wasn't in the military as a politician.
Ask-
That's what he's just asking. Hey, he's got it going. Two more.
Oh, goodness gracious, I'm sweating.
I'll give you a hint. It had to do with the Senate. Very important political position. In the Senate. Majority of the people in this class would probably get it. That's why I called it. Of course, you might be in the minority not get it.
The majority,
What?
majority
The majority what?
senator.
Okay. What do they call that majority senator? Is he a follower?
Majority leader.
Yes! Wait a minute! Majority leader, we're down to one more. Majority of the kids knew that. You might be in the minority that doesn't.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh.
Minority leader.
Oh, the minority leader. How about a hand for Ivan? Yeah. All right. You know, I am very proud of you because most people do not get the congressional secretary. You popped that one right up. All right. Sheriff, my dear, give me one example of why Lyndon Johnson did not enjoy his role as vice president.
He lost power.
Okay, give me another one, Maddie.
Um,
Use a musical instrument analogy here.
yeah, he didn't enjoy playing second fiddle to a less experienced man.
Perfect, yep. Okay, the first one was he lost power, and the second one is he didn't enjoy playing second fiddle to a less experienced man. Very good. Okay, Paris, under the National Defense Education Act, name the two pieces of legislation that came from that. Under the National Defense Education Act, name the two pieces of legislation that came under there.
The elementary and secondary education act and the higher education.
Yeah, now listen, this is the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. And the Higher Education Act. There you go, very good. Now, Morgan, give me one thing the Medicare bill of 1965 provided. One thing the Medicare bill of 1965 provided.
Citizens 65 years old receive low-cost hospital insurance.
Citizens 65 years and older received low-cost hospital insurance. Okay? Dalton, give me another one.
All citizens age 65 and up receive low-cost medical insurance.
Low-cost medical insurance for those 65 and above. And Kasia, what was the third part of that?
All citizens under 65 would receive medical aid in individual states.
From individual states, right. Now, I've had kids every year do this. They say people over the age of 65 and people under the age of 65, and they leave out these poor 65-year-olds. So remember, it's 65 and older, not over 65 and under 65.
No.
They do it all the time.
You're 65.
You're out of it. I always get
You're
this.
basically
This would be the first class, now that I warned you, well, we'll see if they watch the video. Every year they put over the age of 65 and under the age of 65, leave out these poor 65-year-olds. Okay, Brady, other than the Medicare bill, name another piece of legislation that was passed during President Johnson's Great Society. Is that right? Was that during his Great Society? That's right. Give me another one, Michaela. It was passed during his Great Society.
The
Highway Beautification Act. And Olivia, give me the last one.
The Housing and Urban Development Act.
There you go. There's your test, kiddos. 30 answers. 30 points apiece. And now I'm going to show you the Travis Roy story. I'm going to tell you something. If this doesn't choke you up, you're not human. Kellyanna, lights, camera, and action, dear. Now, before we watch this, I want to ask you a question. We've got people in here that strive to do things in college. Want to play basketball, want to play football, want to be in speech and debate, want to be in cheerleading, want to be in swimming, want to be in drama. It's kind of a big deal to work your butt off so you get an opportunity to play college athletics or participate in college activities. Some people work their whole life for it. I wonder what you would think if your college career,
Is this the hockey player?
your college career lasted 11 seconds. Okay, well you get to see it again. It's a great story. Okay, so let's key in here and pay attention. I think this is a great story of perseverance. It's very sad, but it's a great story of perseverance in life. The Travis Roy story. It's entitled 11 Seconds.